Hi everyone, today's video that I'm going to be going over is factoring by grouping. Now again, you've learned this, so this is really just a quick review. If you do need more practice, just reach out to me and I can give you some places to look. So factoring by grouping, we have to be able to do one thing really well. We have to recognize when we have a greatest common factor that's an expression, such as if we look at example 1, the greatest common factor, see 5 is being multiplied to x plus y and w is being multiplied to x plus y. So the greatest common factor of these two terms is actually x plus y. It's in both. So that's the GCF. It gets pulled out to the front and you're left with 5 plus w. And so you have factored it. Now, that's in its most basic form. It can get a little trickier when you have situations where you're dealing with opposites. So look at a minus 3 and 3 minus a. Those are actually opposites. Well, what's an opposite? So the opposite of 5 is negative 5, right? The opposite of x would be negative x. The opposite of x plus 2 would be negative x minus 2. So the opposite of a minus 3 would be negative a plus 3, usually written 3 minus a. All right, so when we have a situation where the GCF, you have opposites, you can make one small adjustment to that expression to make them the same. So if they're opposites, then they differ by a negative 1. So you can factor out a negative 1 out of this one. That would make the 2a positive. So you would have positive 2a, and that would turn that into a minus 3. So now we have two expressions that are identical, so they become the GCF. So a minus 3 is the GCF. We'll pull that out to the front. Let me switch colors here. So a minus 3 gets pulled out to the front, and you'd be left with 5 plus 2a. Looking for opposites in expressions is going to make everything a little bit easier for you because they look really close, but again, they differ by a factor of negative 1. All right, so let's look at a real full grouping question. So a real full grouping question, you have 4 terms, okay? Not 3 terms. There is a way to group 3 terms to make it 4 terms, but this is when we have 4 terms. You group together pairs of terms. In this case, I'm just going to group together the first 2 and the second 2. And you factor out the greatest common factor, the GCF. So in the first set, I see that they have a greatest common factor of x squared, and that's leaving me with x plus 1. In the second pair group, I can see that they have a greatest common factor of 2, a positive 2. So I'm going to take out a positive 2. Now always bring the sign with it. If you take out a positive number, make it positive. If you take out a negative number, make it negative. And then you're left with x plus 1. If these expressions that you are left with are exactly the same, then you have grouped properly. If they aren't, you can change what you've paired up. Like you could pair up these, the x and the x plus 2x and x squared plus 2. In this case, it wouldn't work, but it doesn't have to be in order. All right, but as long as you get these 2 expressions are exactly the same, you've grouped it properly. So now x plus 1 is the GCF, and you're left with x squared plus 2. All right, so that's a quick review of factoring by grouping. It does tend to confuse students sometimes, so if you do need more practice with this after you've finished the examples, please just reach out and let me know. Have a great day.